Nicknamed The Body, Elle Macpherson was far beyond a catchy title. With her commanding height, luminous complexion, and vibrant spirit, she challenged a fashion scene obsessed with fragility. Ella didn't just showcase outfits, she transformed perceptions of vitality, confidence, and feminine power. Her ascent was daring and iconic. Explore how she revolutionized an industry that never saw her coming. Elle Macpherson spent her childhood in the peaceful neighborhood of East Lynfield, tucked away in Sydney's beautiful North Shore. It was there that her early years unfolded, surrounded by the calm of suburban life and the dreams that would one day carry her across the world. Like many kids her age, she went through school with determination, eventually moving on to Kalara High School, where she worked hard until she earned her higher school certificate in 1981. That small but important milestone marked the end of one chapter and the beginning of many extraordinary ones that lay ahead for her. Family played a special role in shaping her world as well. Among her closest bonds was her sister, Miriam Frances Gow, better known as Mimi Macpherson. Mimi herself grew into a successful businesswoman and passionate environmentalist, proving that the Macpherson family carried not just beauty, but also ambition and a spirit of purpose. Aside from her nuclear family, Elle had an interesting love story. In the early 1980s, Elle Macpherson had an eyes-fitting romance with Billy Joel, a time that inspired him deeply. Their relationship became the heartbeat of some of his most memorable songs, with her being the muse behind tracks like This Night and So It Goes, and even believed to have sparked the creation of his famous love anthem, Uptown Girl. A few years later, in 1984, while working on a photo shoot for Elle magazine, she crossed paths with French fashion photographer Gilles Ben-Simon. What started as work soon blossomed into love, and by May 1986, the two were married. But the happiness didn't last long. After just 3 years together, their union came to an end, and they parted ways. Love found her again in 1996 when she began a relationship with financier Arpad Bousson. Their time together was marked by the birth of 2 beautiful sons, and as a family, they built a home in London. For nearly a decade, they shared their lives, but by July 2005, their love story ended and they went their separate ways. Not long after, her heart was drawn to Jeffrey Soffer, a wealthy hotel heir from Miami. Their romance began in 2009, but like many great love stories, it wasn't without problems. In 2012, they broke up, only to find their way back to each other later that year after he survived a helicopter crash. That life-changing moment brought them closer, leading to their engagement in 2013. Soon after, they tied the knot in a breathtaking ceremony at the luxurious Lokala Resort in Fiji. For a while, it seemed like a fairy tale, but in 2017, they announced their divorce, quietly closing another chapter. That very same year was when she faced one of the toughest battles of her life, breast cancer. So, between 2017 and 2019, she was linked to a very controversial figure, Andrew Wakefield, a British man who had once been a doctor but later became infamous as a fraudster and anti-vaccine activist. Their relationship raised eyebrows, adding yet another dramatic twist to her already eventful personal life. Elle Macpherson's love life has been full of highs and lows, with moments of passion, heartbreak, resilience, and courage. From being the muse of legendary songs to navigating marriages, motherhood, heartbreaks, and health battles, she has lived her story out loud, never shying away from the challenges or the spotlight. Elle Macpherson has always used her fame to shine light on people in need. In Europe, she has worked closely with Product Red, the movement started by Bono and Bobby Shriver, to raise funds for the Global Fund, which supports the fight against AIDS, tuberculosis, and malaria. Her focus has been on helping women and children in Africa, where the crisis has hit the hardest. She also puts her heart into her role as an ambassador for UNICEF, standing up for children around the world who deserve safety, health, and hope. Back home in Australia, she has become a voice for the Smile Foundation, an organization that gives support to families whose children live with rare illnesses. Through this group, she also helps push for government-backed research grants to improve healthcare and create solutions for those families. Beyond her ambassador work, Elle has stepped in personally for causes that touched her heart, like joining fundraising efforts for victims of the devastating British floods in 2007 and supporting Absolute Return for Kids, a group committed to protecting vulnerable children. Her advocacy has not stopped there. In 2012, she was chosen to lead Sky's campaign for International Women's Day, reminding the world of the power and importance of women everywhere. On top of that, she serves as a patron for the National Association for the Children of Alcoholics, giving a voice to young people who often grow up in silence and struggle. Everywhere she goes, Elle has carried a sense of care, stepping far beyond her modeling career to become someone who uses her platform to create real change. Whether it is for children, women, or families in crisis, she has shown that her greatest beauty lies in her compassion. Elle's journey in business was not only bold, but also widely celebrated, and the world never failed to notice her efforts. Back in 2005, a huge milestone came her way when Glamour magazine honored her as their Entrepreneur of the Year, proof that she was much more than a supermodel. She was a woman with vision and drive. Just 2 years later, her influence grew stronger, and she was chosen for the Every Woman Ambassador Award, a recognition given only to women who shine as true examples of success and determination in business. Her achievements didn't stop there. In 2008, her work in lingerie design brought her the spotlight yet again, when the prestigious Femi Awards named her Lingerie Designer of the Year, a title that confirmed her ability to transform creativity into something women everywhere loved. And in 2009, her career reached even greater heights when the Women's World Awards presented her with the Distinguished World Career Award, marking her as a global icon whose impact went far beyond fashion. Elle's influence and legacy is one that feels bigger than fashion itself. Her mark wasn't just left on the glossy covers of magazines, but in the very way people came to see what it meant to be a model with her own voice. She showed the world that beauty and brains could exist side by side, that a woman could strut down a runway one moment and run a business the next without losing who she truly was. Because of her, today's models know they can be more than pretty faces. Many of them follow the same path she carved, using their fame to build their own brands, speak about health and wellness, and tell their own stories instead of letting others define them. The idea that a model could be more than just someone admired from afar has so much to do with her courage to step outside the box. Even now, long after her very first cover on Sports Illustrated, her presence still feels fresh and timeless. It isn't because she tried to hide from getting older, but because she accepted it with grace and used it to change how people talk about beauty and age. She became living proof that charm and attraction don't vanish when youth fades. Instead, they grow stronger, filled with wisdom, confidence, and life experience. She always believed that beauty shines from the way you live and not only from the way you look. That belief is what kept her glow alive, and it is why she still inspires so many. Maybe we don't see her on every magazine shelf anymore, but her influence is everywhere, in every model who dares to take control of her career, her image, and her future. Elle may have stepped out of the spotlight, but her presence never truly disappeared. It shows in every bold step taken by women who learned from her to own their power, their choices, and their destiny. With what you already know about Elle Macpherson, do you think the body has impacted women in the right way? Let's hear from you in the comments. Remember to hit the like button and subscribe. Thanks for watching. See you in the next video. In the bright spotlight of the 1980s fashion world, Elle Macpherson stood shoulder to shoulder with some of the most unforgettable faces of the runway: Linda Evangelista, Christy Turlington, Tatiana Patitz, Naomi Campbell, Pavlina Pojiskova, and Cindy Crawford. Together, they were not just models, but a brand new wave of icons who redefined beauty and glamour for their generation. By 1989, Elle's presence had grown so magnetic that Time magazine placed her on their cover and playfully crowned her with a nickname that would follow her throughout her career, calling her simply the Body.
The Body, I said to myself, you know what's missing in the American market is a brand that really focuses on silhouette.
What began as a label soon became a powerful identity, one she later carried into many of her own business adventures. As the years went on, her fame did not stop at fashion shows and glossy magazines. In 1992, the New York Times grouped her with other runway legends such as Evangelista, Turlington, Crawford, Campbell, Helena Christensen, and Claudia Schiffer, describing them as the ultimate 7 women who ruled the catwalks of their time. They were admired so widely that fans didn't even need to hear their full names. Their first names alone were enough to spark excitement. Elle wasn't only interested in walking the runway, she had a keen business sense that pushed her beyond modeling. In 1994, she parted ways with Ford Models, her longtime agency, to set up her own company, Elle Macpherson Inc. This became the backbone for her future projects and gave her full control over her brand. She began producing her own calendars in the early 1990s, each paired with behind-the-scenes television specials that gave fans a glimpse into the making of her glamorous world. Those successful projects soon opened the door for her to create a series of workout tapes called Your Personal Best, The Body, where she shared her fitness routines and lifestyle tips with the world. Her vision stretched even further when she entered the fashion business directly. In 1990, she introduced a lingerie line called Elle Macpherson Intimates, in collaboration with Bendon Limited Apparel. What started as a daring new step into design soon turned into a sensation. The collection rose quickly to become the top-selling lingerie brand in both Britain and her home country, Australia. Elle Macpherson's journey into business was nothing short of bold. Back in 1980, when the lingerie company Bendon first reached out to her to simply advertise their products in Australia, she turned the idea upside down. Instead of just lending her face to the campaign, she suggested something far more daring for that era, a partnership where the lingerie would carry her name and her creative input, with Bendon handling the production. Today, such collaborations are common, but at that time it was a groundbreaking move that blended the worlds of fashion models and design labels in a way that had never really been done before. Elle didn't just stop at putting her name on the brand. She rolled up her sleeves and worked deeply in shaping it. She became the driving force behind the business, first stepping in as the head of marketing and later taking charge as creative director. Under her leadership, the brand kept growing stronger. In 2010, she took things to another level by launching a new extension of the label called Obsidian, adding even more depth and variety to her lingerie empire. Around the same time, while caring for her second child, she noticed a gap in the market and introduced a maternity bra line that blended comfort and elegance for mothers everywhere. Her brand continued to shine well into the 2000s, gaining recognition globally. It was even featured on the hit show America's Next Top Model, and marked a proud milestone when it celebrated a decade of being sold at the luxury store Selfridges. Her creativity didn't stop at lingerie. Elle built her own beauty range called Elle Macpherson, The Body, which was sold at Boots and partnered with the Australian sun care label Invisible Zinc. She even stepped into a new role in the fashion industry, joining the board of directors at Hot Tuna Clothing for a year. There, she shared her expertise by guiding product design, shaping the brand's image, and helping to sharpen their sales approach. By 2007, Elle Macpherson's work in fashion and business had grown so inspiring that the BBC dedicated a full documentary to her life, capturing her busy routines and showing how she carefully built her lingerie empire on a global scale.
And I was just really happy to have the financial independence, to tell you the truth. It was really about having freedom.
2 years later, her reputation as a smart businesswoman earned her the honor of delivering the main speech at the International Trademark Association's annual gathering, where leaders from around the world listened to her share her vision and experience. Her ambitions didn't slow down. In 2014, she stepped into the world of health and wellness by co-founding Wella Co., a company that focused on creating products to support a balanced lifestyle. Its very first creation, the Super Elixir, was an alkalizing supplement designed to help people feel healthier from the inside out. The product quickly became a hit, landing on the shelves of luxury stores like Selfridges in London, and even on the popular online boutique Net-a-Porter. It wasn't long before celebrities embraced it too, with stars like Kate Moss adding it to their daily routines. Elle's choice to step into business was another bold turn in her life. She didn't just stop at modeling. She built her own lingerie and swimwear collections, showing the world that models could do far more than just wear clothes on a runway or pose for cameras. She proved that they could create, design, and run their own companies, opening a door that later inspired others to take the same path. But what made her journey even more powerful was the way she carried herself as time passed. When many models began to lose the spotlight in their 30s, Elle didn't fade away. Instead, she reshaped her career to fit the new chapters of her life. She welcomed motherhood with pride, let people see her as a real woman beyond the glamour, and focused on health and strength rather than chasing empty beauty trends. Even as she grew older, she stayed in demand, landing big campaigns and still shining on magazine covers well into her 40s and beyond. By doing all this, Elle Macpherson didn't just push against the rules of fashion, she completely transformed them. She showed that lasting power, self-worth, and individuality could be just as magnetic as being young and trendy. Her path was living proof that a woman could reinvent herself again and again, and still remain a force in an industry that often forgets its stars too quickly. Now, while we praise her achievements in the fashion world, let's not forget that she started somewhere before becoming a household name, so keep watching as we unveil the part that the internet never knew about.
Well, Elle Macpherson has over 20 years of intimate and lingerie experience. She's got great DNA in the business, and we loved what she had to bring.
Elle Macpherson never planned to become one of the most famous models in the world. Her first dream was to study law at the University of Sydney. To save money for her books, she decided to spend a year in the United States doing some modeling work. That temporary plan changed her entire life. She signed with Click Model Management in New York, and in 1982, she made her debut with a television commercial for Tab. The ad instantly caught attention and introduced her as the fresh-faced girl next door that Australia couldn't stop talking about. From that simple beginning, her career exploded. Throughout the 1980s, her face was everywhere, on the covers and pages of the world's top magazines, from Elle and Harper's Bazaar to Vogue, Cosmopolitan, Marie Claire, GQ, Allure, and many more. Her long-standing relationship with Elle magazine was especially remarkable. For 6 years straight, she appeared in every single issue and graced countless covers, showing off her image as one of the most recognizable models of her time. At just 21 years old, she married Gilles Benzimont, who was the creative director of Elle, further tying her name to the fashion world. Around the same time, she became the face of French luxury skincare brand Biotherm, a role she carried proudly for many years. Her fame reached even greater heights when she began appearing in Sports Illustrated's swimsuit issue. Elle became a record breaker, appearing on the cover 5 times, something no other model had achieved. These covers earned her international stardom and gave her a special place in the history of the magazine. Elle Macpherson's face and figure became one of the most recognized in the world as she fronted campaigns for some of the biggest names in fashion. She brought elegance and glamour to the likes of Christian Dior, Escada, Enrico Coveri, Azzedine Alaïa, Guy Laroche, Ralph Lauren, Victorio and Lucchino, Omega, Pinko, H&M, Victoria's Secret, Model Co., and Revlon. But her influence was not confined to luxury labels. She also lit up everyday brands, starring in ads for Diet Coke, Chrysler, Miller Lite, Impulse, Budweiser, Tab, KFC, Garuda Airlines, and even the Mandarin Oriental Hotel Group. Her ability to move seamlessly between high fashion and mainstream brands made her a rare kind of icon, loved by both elite designers and the everyday consumer. Her film career also had an unexpected effect on her public image. After appearing nude in the 1994 movie Sirens, the media frenzy around her grew, with tabloids going as far as contacting her former partners in search of private photos. Rather than letting others control her image, Elle took charge and decided to pose nude for Playboy magazine in May 1994, working with the legendary photographer Herb Ritts. By doing this, she turned a vulnerable situation into an empowering one, producing images entirely on her own terms. Her fame was so immense that in 1999, the Caribbean nation of Antigua and Barbuda placed her face on a series of postage stamps, making her the first model in history to be honored on legal tender. The recognition didn't stop there. In 2000, she dazzled the world again during the closing ceremony of the Sydney Olympics, appearing on a spectacular float shaped like a camera lens, complete with a runway. A year later, she joined Naomi Campbell as co-host of the Miss Universe pageant, further proving how global her influence had become. Her popularity even led the Australian government to invite her to serve as an unofficial ambassador for tourism, a role that reflected just how much she symbolized her country on the world stage. Over the years, Elle worked with some of the greatest photographers in fashion history, including Francesco Scavullo, Mario Testino, Mert and Marcus, Ellen von Unwerth, and Stephen Meisel. A collection of portraits taken of her by Bob Carlos Clark were later donated to London's National Portrait Gallery, a lasting reminder of her place in cultural history. Her contributions to style were celebrated in 2006 when she was named Style Icon at the Elle Style Awards, a fitting tribute to her decades-long impact on fashion. In 2008, she signed a 3-year deal with Revlon to become one of their global ambassadors, returning to the spotlight in glossy campaigns that highlighted her timeless beauty. Even after years away from the catwalk, she made a striking comeback in 2010, closing Marc Jacobs' Louis Vuitton show in Paris with the same confidence and presence that had made her a star from the very beginning. Speaking of being a star, do you know that Elle did other things aside from modeling? Well, stay tuned for a deeper explanation. Elle Macpherson's charm wasn't limited to the runway. She also carved out a place for herself on the big screen. Her acting breakthrough came in 1994 when she played an artist's model in the film Sirens, sharing scenes with stars like Hugh Grant, Sam Neill, and Tara Fitzgerald. That role opened the door to more opportunities, and soon, she was appearing in movies such as Woody Allen's Alice, the action-packed Batman and Robin alongside George Clooney, the survival drama The Edge with Anthony Hopkins, and The Mirror Has Two Faces with Barbra Streisand. In 1996, she showed her fun, playful side when she took on the challenge of hosting an episode of Saturday Night Live. By 1999, Elle's screen presence had grown so much that she landed a recurring role on one of the most beloved shows of all time, Friends. She appeared in 5 episodes as Janine Lacroix, Joey Tribbiani's roommate, who eventually became his love interest. After that, she kept exploring new acting projects, starring in Jane Eyre with William Hurt, and sharing the screen with Ben Stiller and Sarah Jessica Parker in If Lucy Fell. One of her most talked about roles came in the Showtime miniseries A Girl Thing, where she played a woman navigating the complexities of bisexuality. A performance that sparked a lot of conversation. Elle continued to embrace diverse roles, appearing in the Italian film South Kensington in 2001, and later stepping into television again as Claudia Foster, a modeling agent in The Beautiful Life. The show followed the lives of young hopefuls trying to break into the New York fashion scene, and Elle brought authenticity to her role thanks to her own industry experience. Beyond film and TV, she also kept her playful spirit alive, starring in a 2011 commercial with Gary Lineker for Walker's Crinkles, where her charm and humor shone just as brightly as her beauty. Elle Macpherson's career continued to blossom far beyond modeling and acting when she stepped into television hosting. In 2010, she took over as the face of Britain and Ireland's Next Top Model, replacing Lisa Snowdon. Not only did she guide the contestants on screen, but she also worked behind the scenes as the executive producer, shaping the entire direction of the show. The refreshed version brought in an exciting judging panel that featured award-winning designer Julian McDonald, American fashion personality Whitney Port, and top male model Tyson Beckford. Together, they created a stylish, competitive, and highly entertaining show that drew in fashion fans everywhere. Her talent for television didn't stop there. Elle went on to host and executive produce Fashion Star, a big reality competition series on NBC. The program offered a huge opportunity for 14 up-and-coming designers who were mentored by stars like Jessica Simpson, Nicole Richie, and John Varvatos. Each week, the contestants fought to impress buyers from major retailers including Macy's, H&M, and Saks Fifth Avenue, with the winning designs landing in stores immediately. The format was fresh, exciting, and instantly successful, spreading across the globe as the first season alone was sold to 75 countries. Elle's presence brought glamour, warmth, and credibility to the show, making her an anchor for aspiring designers dreaming of their big break. But while Elle's professional life was soaring, she also faced darker moments. In July 1997, while she was away in Chicago for work, her Los Angeles home was broken into. The thieves, William Ryan Holt and Michael Mishler, made off with jewelry worth around $100,000 deep, along with $60,000 in cash and several personal photographs. The incident took a frightening turn when an extortion attempt followed. Thankfully, both men were soon caught. Mishler admitted to attempted extortion and burglary and received a sentence of more than 6 years in prison. Holt, who had a military background and was already on parole, pleaded guilty to extortion and was handed a 1-year prison term. Now, when you thought that she had seen enough bad days, she had a life-threatening health issue.